Speak to any proper jazzer and they'll tell you you probably need about 90 to 100 jazz standards to do any jazz jam and any jazz gig. But what if you're new to jazz and you just want to get into it? Well, I've got 5 standards for you to check out. So the first one, So What by Miles Davis. This was in his modal phase. So what we have here is a very famous bass line to start with. So you probably have heard that before. When we're looking at jazz standards, we often have charts that we can analyze. And if you look at this one here, we have a D minor 7 chord. So throughout this lesson, I'm going to introduce you to a few concepts. This is one of them. We have a D minor 7 chord going for a while. You can actually see on this chart in brackets, it says Dorian. And that is a mode of the major scale, the second mode of the major scale. It's a mode used in jazz a lot, so I think this is a good jazz standard to get into because there's not really that much going on. If you think about something like giant steps, it's probably a bit too much to begin with. So here, look at the form. We have D minor 7 for 16 bars, then we have E flat minor 7 for 8 bars, and then back to D minor 7 for 8 bars. That's the form. So in any jazz standard, you want to be really on top of the structure. And over the D minor 7, you have the Dorian mode. So you have D Dorian. Let's have a look at it in a couple of different positions. Here's one. Here's another, same thing, just a slightly different fingering pattern. Now, walking bass lines are characterized by playing on every beat and each beat being subdivided into triplets a lot of the time. That's where we get our swing from. It's a very important jazz concept. Always, always listen to the originals. Paul Chambers on this is absolutely amazing. You know, you're doing that kind of line, and really it's just walking through a Dorian mode. You need to know it in lots of different places, like another one would be here. Even playing it like that sounds like a walking bass line, but you can use notes like chromaticism, like this. It's a very jazz concept. We're not going to go too deep into that in this lesson. I'm just going to introduce you to 5 of these standards, and I'll put a link below where you can listen to the originals, because certainly listening to the great players, that's the best way. So after we have done 16 bars of the D minor, we go to E flat minor 7. And it's exactly the same thing. We have an E flat Dorian mode going on now. I love Miles Davis's solo in this. It's got lots of space and it's really slow and easy to follow. And if you were to take a solo over this, you would then use the same scales or modes that we're talking about here. That's why I think this is a good one, because a little bit like a rock or a funk song, if you're used to that, you're probably used to staying in one place and one key center for a while. That characterizes those styles. Jazz is all over the place. But this one, we're staying around. So just here, just a little exercise for you. Just you've got this shape here. That's D Dorian, and then just practice going up 1 semitone or 1 fret. If you start on the root note and you miss out a note every time, you go up in thirds, you get an arpeggio. We can go all the way to the 11th. Root, flat third, 5th, flat 7, 9th, 11th. I do have a lesson that goes into this further, and I probably will have other lessons that go into these standards in much more detail if you want to subscribe. But the next one, we have Cantaloupe Island, and it's a similar idea here. This is a Herbie Hancock tune, and it's another modal one, and we have quite a prescriptive bass line here that starts on an F minor. Different charts have different ways of showing you chords. So the F and the minus sign is F minor. And you just sort of have to know these things. We're using a root, a fifth, a flat seventh, and the root again, the octave, to outline the notes within the chord. Very, very simple notes. This is the bass line. That's the intro. And this is a jazz rock tune. Again, if you're coming from rock or funk, this is a nice, easy sort of gateway into jazz. At the A section, the beginning is four bars of F minor, and then we go to D flat 7 with the same intervals, the same notes over this D flat 7 chord. 4 bars. Then D minor, this rhythm, 4 times. Back to F minor. It's F minor 7. That's the structure. That's not the beginning again, that's the end. And then you would go back to the A section. So that's quite an easy structure, an easy one to learn. I'm not going to go into soloing over this. The bass line is really just that. It's quite simple. But what I love about jazz is that it does notch things up a level or two. So you can use, you know, a mode over each thing. So you've got F Dorian, a great one over a D flat 7. Lydian dominant. I'm just playing it up and down like a scale. It doesn't sound particularly musical doing that, but it does fit. And then over the D minor, you know, D minor blues, D Dorian works. F minor, same, F Dorian, F minor blues. So when you talk about jazz standards, you know, modern bass players are required to solo over them. But I think just first of all, get the harmony down and get the bass line first and foremost. That's what our job is, to outline the harmony in a musical way with decent rhythm and tone. The blues is central to jazz styles, and there are lots of jazz standards that are built around blues progression. So here's one, Blue Monk by Thelonius Monk. This is the melody, I don't know if you know it. Really simple, lovely melody. Bassline wise, if you look at the chord symbols, we have dominant chords. That's where you have just the letter and the quality after it. So if it's just a letter and a 7, that means dominant chords all the way. That really characterizes blues. These aren't definitive, you know, the first 5. I could have picked loads of others, but this is just a good one. So again, listen to the original. The bass line on it, it's all about timing to me, and the note choices are fantastic and never staying in one place. I was hearing a lot of triads. So what I was doing there, B flat. So that's why I love jazz. If you're reading chord symbols, you need to know all the occurrences of B flat everywhere, not just one place. You can't get away with it in one place. So here's a B flat major triad. And there it is up the octave. I haven't even put the flat 7 in there. When you do, you really outline the sound of a B flat dominant chord. If we stick to triads though, just for now. And if you play on every quarter note, and if you're thinking da 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 da, that's the swing rhythm. Now you'll see it's only 1 bar of that, so we have to get from the B flat 7 to the E flat 7. There are so many ways of doing this. That's your job as a jazz bass player, is to stitch together the chords using, well, melody really. You're playing a melody within the line, but you're outlining the harmony and you're really nailing the rhythm as well. It's all those elements. At the end here we have a 2-5 chord progression, which is central to jazz. If we're in the key of B flat and I play B flat major, we have a set of chords that come from that. And the one built on the second note is a C minor 7, which is that chord there. And the 5 is the F7. And notice how that has a forward motion to it. And then we're going to the B flat 7. This is Fly Me to the Moon by Bart Howard, a real classic. And really here we get to see the movement of diatonic chords in fourths, which is a really common thing that happens. If you just analyze the root note movement here, just forget all the minor or major after the letters. Focus on the letters. We've got A, D, G, C. Just going up in fourths every time. This is in the key of A minor, and I think I'll stop now just to very quickly explain diatonics and chords that come from one key. So we have A minor. And there are 7 different notes in that key. And on each of those 7 notes, you can build a chord. And this is what you get. And what we're doing is we're moving through those chords in fourths. So D minor 7, G7, C major 7, then it goes to C7. Sometimes dominant chords are added in. They pull you to the next chord. So then we have F major 7. This is all chords diatonic to the key of A minor. Then we have a 2-5, a minor 2-5-1. I'll explain that in 1 second. We have major and minor 2-5-1s. A minor 1 occurs in a minor key like this, where the 2 chord is this funny looking one, B minor 7 flat 5. Then often the 5 chord is dominant. We're sort of borrowing from the harmonic minor chord here, or key. That pulls very strongly to the A minor. See how it turns there into dominant? This is a good thing to do as well. This is for another lesson. Sorry, there's too much here, but I will do this in another lesson. You can just hear the harmony if you can play through very simple 7th chords. If you want me to do a lesson on how to do that, drop a comment below. I can't do everything in this lesson. It's sort of an introduction into this sort of thing. But where were we? We were at the 2-5-1. Now, if you know all these arpeggios, you can build walking bass lines using them. That's not a very good walking bass line, it's just going through arpeggios. That's better. It's stitching the lines together and it's using a bit of rhythm to make it more interesting. And Fly Me to the Moon uses chords just from one key. So nothing is too tricky. You're not having to modulate, meaning go to different keys. That's why I think this is a good one to have a look at. A good one to learn all your arpeggios. You have a minor 7 there. You have a dominant 7. You have a major 7. A minor 7 flat 5 or half diminished. And these are chords that are If you've never seen them before, they might freak you out a little bit, but there's only a few of them, and you can move them around in all different root notes, and those form the basis of many, or practically all other jazz standards. I love this one. This is Blue Bossa by Kenny Dorham, and it's a very similar idea where we don't really have too much going on, but there is a little bit of modulation here. I will explain that now. So yeah, the C minus, it's really C minus 7. And if I just play the melody, you might recognize the tune. You recognize that? So the bass line, there's another chart where it recommends a bass line. Something like that. But usually if you're playing this on a gig, you can just do very simple root 5. This is Bossa Nova, and lots of jazz standards use Latin styles and South American rhythms and things, and that's another reason why I love it, the accumulation of different styles. So we can get away with that. So whatever root note you're on, just go 2 frets higher, drop to the next string, and you have the root 5 pattern. Let's analyze this harmonically. So we are in the key of C minor, at least initially. And we have a C minor 7 chord to F minor 7. This is all diatonic so far to that key. That's a 1-4 chord progression. Then we have another 2-5-1 in a minor key. We saw that before, and it's the same thing here. So D minor 7 flat 5, you'll see that this is a different representation of that than the previous chart, which came from a different book. I probably will do another lesson on that. But it's a D, a little circle with a slash through it, that's half diminished. I know this sounds really complicated if you've never seen this before. It takes a few looks at something like this to get it. Then we have a G7. What does that say? A G7, sharp 9. I'm going to ignore the sharp 9, just play G7. Then C minor. Then something interesting happens here. We change key, we modulate, and jazz standards do that all the time. Now we're in E flat minor 7, to A flat 7, to D flat major 7. Now that's the first time this lesson we've seen a major 2-5-1. You see there the minus 7, minor 7, A flat 7 is A flat dominant 7, and D flat triangle, yet another strange way of representing major 7. One of these things you need to know. If ever you see a minor 7 to a dominant 7 to a major 7, that tells you pretty much always that we're in that's one key. So whatever the major 7 chord is, that's the key we've moved to. Let's back up. I'll go from the beginning. So all that C minor. Then we change key. So we can use modes and notes from that key now. E flat minor 7. This is the 2 chord. And that Dorian mode we learned first of all on So What? On that exact place, fits over this. A flat 7, Mixolydian, and then to D flat major 7. That's our major scale. But bass line wise, the root 5 thing works. And look what happens here. We move back to the previous chord progression. We're morphing to the other key, modulating. That's a little turnaround at the end. A turnaround takes you back to the beginning. I know there's a lot there that I skirted over, and I went a bit too fast on some things. This lesson is really just an introduction, most of the lessons I do are really, if you look at it, funk, which I've got a course on, and I have on blues and soul, R&B, Motown, pop. These are the styles I absolutely love, and I sort of don't do enough jazz, although I absolutely love that style. So I kind of need you to tell me if you want me to do more of these lessons, okay? I can think of 100 different lessons on jazz bass playing, just beginning, introduction into it, showing you how to do walking bass lines, swing, what tunes to learn, a little bit introduction into how you might approach soloing. You have to know your entire fretboard. You have to know how to read chord charts. There are so many things that are so good for you in terms of learning jazz. So I'm up for it, but I need to know if you are. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget there's that link where you can really listen to the originals. The best way to do this is to play the music. And that is to listen to the originals, learn the harmony, and learn the arpeggios and just go for it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.